Guys, Earthmaster here on the live stream with an update video on this Tuesday, November 23rd evening, 2021, about 9 p.m. California time. And latest quake, a 4.9 earthquake striking around the Baja California region. This area right here has seen some uptick in earthquake activity throughout the last couple days here. Looking at the map on the USGS map here, shows that 4.9 striking just a few minutes ago. Let me show you guys the seismograph here real quick. You can see that showing up here on the Southern California graph. Barrett Station down around the San Diego area picking it up. Also a station in Missouri called Cathedral Cave picked up that 4.9 as well. Of course, this is not being felt in Missouri or Southern California, but the seismograph stations picking up the signature, which is right there on the Missouri station from that 4.9 earthquake. So these waves do travel pretty far, and some sensitive equipment picking up the waves. There's activity happening there in the Gulf of California. Earlier today we had a 4.3 kicking up here. Looking at the last 7 days of earthquake activity, see a swarm of movement into the Gulf of California, with quite a few fours kicking off. 4.9, the largest so far in this swarm of activity, but this is just still kind of a telltale sign of some impending potential larger scale movement out here, folks. So be on guard here in this region. Looking at some activity happening off the coast of Oregon today. We are looking at some further movement into Idaho with some renewed activity into the Pacific Northwest. I think with all this activity is a good time to pay attention to what's going on out here. Some deep movement as well around the Fiji Islands area, except for this 5.4 that struck relatively shallow in the area of the Fiji Islands. Of course, I think most of the deep movement is going to be south or southeast of this little line here that I'm kind of drawing here with the arrow. These two earthquakes over here, 483 kilometers and 527 kilometers. This little region right here, the deepest earthquakes recorded on Earth have been in this area. So this shallow earthquake activity out here is kind of interesting as well, because we haven't seen too much in the way of shallow earthquakes recently, and this area of Fiji can get some big quakes out there as far as shallow quakes go, and also some deeper movement, deeper large earthquakes over here as well. So looking at this key scale here shows us the potential for at least historical large earthquakes. Looks like 6 to 7 range, but it's very possible we could see a little bit larger in the way of magnitudes for this region. So just something to think about. Kind of keep an eye on that area as well, with the shallow movement there occurring within the last hour. Hawaii kind of popping off there too in the southeast flank all of a sudden. So some unrest happening right now on the Pacific Plate. I believe this little earthquake over here in Texas, let me check and see if this has been reviewed. It has been reviewed, and it is sticking. This earthquake right here occurred shortly after the 4.9 earthquake. Looks like a few minutes or so, actually, well, about 20 minutes or so after the, wait a minute, let's see, where are we at? No, this one actually occurred prior. So 4:12 UTC time, and then the 4.9 in the Gulf occurred afterwards. So just kind of watching this. Some geyser activity as well up north. Just a whole lot of movement, folks. Nothing really changing up in the Intermountain West regions. Just this renewed earthquake activity on opposite sides of the Pacific Plate. Pretty cool to look at, kind of like a big jigsaw puzzle piece. And when one piece moves, the other piece adjusts and moves accordingly. So we'll see how this plays out, folks. Have a good night. Just want to jump in there and hope everyone has a great, safe evening. Be prepared out there. Peace out, guys.